Hey, this has just showed up on my radar. Please share this video that you're about to watch with everyone you can, because there is a diabolical attack from the story I'm seeing against the church. If you would just share this video with everyone, we could create enough groundswell to maybe turn the tide toward this diabolical action that's being taken against the church.
It's $1.2 million of their tithes and offerings. Governor Gavin Newsom in the city of San Jose in the state of California is trying to take from them over COVID violations that were later found to be unconstitutional, but yet they still want the church and the tithes and offerings to the tune of $1.2 million.
This was when California started issuing all those exemptions for other businesses, and churches said, you know what, if the restaurant's able to open, then we should be able to have our worship service the way we want. But no, it's $5,000 a day fines that ended up being over $1.2 million, even though in court, their refusal, Calvary Chapel's refusal to sign a sworn statement promising to comply with the court orders was actually thrown out as unconstitutional later. This is what was exempted out, while Calvary Chapel was just trying to have church. Now, they're being fined $1.2 million. All of what I'm about to read,
by the way, they still aren't.
All of what I'm about to read was completely exempted. All athletic exemptions for any kind of sports and in physical contact, they were exempt from masks while competing. Construction exemptions were so broad that it was basically just you could remove it and if it creates any kind of risk at all. Individualized determination, which means individuals got to actually choose whether or not to wear a mask. Restaurants. Okay, you're inside a restaurant. Patrons could eat and drink maskless while seated. There was not a time limit for how long you could be there. So for even hours in an enclosed space. Personal care exemptions. This is not, by the way, you're thinking medical, maybe. No, this is like getting a haircut or a massage. Those masks could be taken off by both the client and those who were carrying out that activity. And the same, of course, for the entire government of California was fully exempted completely so that nothing would impede or interfere with essential government work.
The entire government.
None of that. So none of those people, including the entire California government, had to comply.
Or got
but
fines.
California is still fighting to get $1.2 million from Calvary Chapel, San Jose.
Yeah, you'd think at least at this point they go, okay, we're multiple years out. What's the good
we
here?
This like a mess.
We handled this. I mean, it was everyone
California
handled it, in a way that they could and tried to get by. Whatever happened. And we could say, okay, we did what we did, but you know what? What's $1 million? What's $1 million to us, the state of California? Nothing. What is $1 million to this church? A lot.
Whether or not it survives.
Right. So that is the difference. As you're talking about, who does that really benefit? And it certainly doesn't benefit the government.
You literally have Gavin Newsom
much.
trying to shut down Calvary Chapel, San Jose. That's what's at play here. And he has the power to stop his government from doing that.
Well, and by the time that we hear back from the Supreme Court, this will be 2026. Yeah. 6 years removed from the pandemic at this point, when it began. Right. And they're still trying to go after this money. And it's just so ridiculous that we are sitting here at a time when we are so far removed from it. We know that Gavin Newsom has presidential aspirations, that they are still saying, you know what, we need that money from that church. Instead of, you know what, we're through this, we're done, let's just move on. But no, this is the same person who would flaunt the rules for himself so he could go to high-end dinners, but at the same time is telling a church you cannot worship. And now, because they wanted to worship, they wanted to fulfill their First Amendment right, as well as their calling by God, they are being put on the hook for $1.2 million still. So much so, we're having to take it to the Supreme Court of the United States.
This is during the debate, race for governor. His opponent says this to him.
Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't trust Gavin with his best friend's wife, how can you trust him with your state?
Wow. That is like...
Best friends. I did not know that.
Oh, really?
Oh, he slept with his best friend's wife, campaign manager.
Bro.
Yeah. Like
that. I mean, there's so many things.
You know why
about Gavin Newsom?
I bet you know why he apologized. He got caught. That's why you're apologizing.
Do you, Phyllis, take this woman, Dell, to be your lawful wedded spouse?
I do.
It is my extraordinary honor to pronounce you spouses for life.
Newsom is apologizing for attending a birthday party that violated the state's COVID-19 guidelines. The governor and his wife attended a party last week for an advisor at the French Laundry restaurant in Napa County with a dozen guests in attendance. State guidelines prohibit gatherings of more than 3 households. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, there were more than that there. In a statement Friday, Newsom said, quote, "While our family followed the restaurant's health protocols and took safety precautions, we should have modeled better behavior and not joined the dinner." California's Health and Human Services Secretary would not comment further on this incident, but he did say following the rules is essential for everybody.
We have the guidance and the tips for a reason. We believe they are the strategies to keep ourselves and our communities safe, and we hope and expect people to take them seriously.
Mayor Kevin Faulconer tweeted this about Governor Newsom last night, saying his kids can learn in person, but yours can't. He can celebrate birthday parties, but you can't. He can dine on a $350 meal at one of California's fanciest restaurants during the worst recession in generations, but you definitely can't. Can you believe this? I can't.
Okay, so let me hit this real quick. Gavin Newsom, there's a reason he's been called Nikolai Carpathia, which, if you remember, that's the character in the Left Behind movie, the character who's really the Antichrist. Gavin Newsom, who is probably the top presidential candidate, contender, pretender, whatever you want to call it, for the Democratic Party. This is not really a Democrat, Republican political issue here, talk here, but he is, in many's eyes, the most wicked, nationally known politician, bar none, on the scene today. You know, a lot of people, you know, they're reporting that this person, that person, this party, that person. This man, as you heard in the clip, he slept with his best friend's wife, who was actually working for him. And there's so much about this guy. He was really, you know, a couple decades ago, was someone really pushing for men to marry men and women to marry women over there in San Francisco when he was mayor, actually performing the ceremonies, really pushing that agenda. This guy, he, you know, had a drinking problem, supposedly resolved that and stopped drinking. Then my understanding is he's back to drinking again. So whatever, you know, excuse he may give about his behavior while he was drinking, he realized drinking was just making him, partially, I guess, making him do bad stuff. But now he's back to drinking. This guy really does not need to be mayor. He doesn't need to be dog catcher with his issues. It's just so much wicked stuff he's done. And during the pandemic, when they were shutting down churches in California, then, as you've seen in the clip, he's requiring, or his administration was requiring, churches to have all sorts of restrictions, where he's caught up at a fancy, I guess one of the most expensive restaurants in California, the French Laundry, at a party, violating his own rules that his administration set forth. When he's caught, yeah, he's going to apologize, but I mean, the man is just, he's done so much just vile stuff. And so now he's after the church. He's trying to get $1 million+, or his administration is trying to get $1 million+ out of a church for them not wearing masks or social distancing years ago during the COVID pandemic. All right, so we'll leave it there.